Hello, my name is Kyle Hirschfeld, and in this video I will be talking about the post-World War II entrepreneur Sam Walton, the founder of Wal-Mart, and the practices which made him a successful businessman. For this week's video, I looked at two interviews with Sam Walton from Forbes magazine in 1977 and 1982, alongside a 1983 magazine article celebrating Walmart's spread in Texas, and an article describing Walmart's award-winning business practices of the early 1980s. The reason I chose Walton is because his success in the latter half of the 20th century displays a knowledge of general economic forces which were at play in the United States during this time, as well attests to his remarkable entrepreneurial spirit and outlook on the American dream. A shift toward a more suburban lifestyle for many Americans paved the way for superstores like Walmart, which was founded on the premise of low-cost, efficient delivery methods of his big city counterparts. Indeed, an interview by Howard Rudnitsky shows that Walton created and expanded his empire by ensuring that no Walmart store was further than 6 hours from the nearest Walmart distribution center. Further expanding upon the evolution of 20th century American economics, Walton utilized the growing highway system, developing his own fleet of 286 semi-trucks which would ferry goods from the distribution centers to the stores themselves at least 3 times a week in order to ensure that the stores were completely stocked as often as possible. In this way, he was able to keep costs low for himself and for his company, as well as for the consumers. By the late 1970s, Walton and Walmart had begun relying increasingly upon an automated system which would relay orders between stores, vendors, customers, and distribution centers, which created a 2% edge right there on gross margins, those are Sam Walton's words, in comparison to Walmart's biggest competitors of the time, Sears, Kmart, and JCPenney. Many saw Walmart's early decision to build solely in suburban areas instead of in cities as a weakness. However, Walton argued that suburban areas provided less competition and therefore profits were better. Comparatively, Walmart's after-tax net of 1976 was 3.4%, whereas Kmart's was 3.2%, and JCPenney's was 2.7%. So his practices were obviously working. Walton's regime also invested heavily in its workers, encouraging them to buy stock in the company up to 8%, as well as incentivizing supervisors with a very competitive salary, especially in rural Arkansas and rural Texas, where Walmart was initially spreading in the 70s and 80s, offering supervisors salaries of between $40,000 and $50,000 a year, which at the time was extremely competitive. Suburban areas of Texas celebrated the arrival of Walmart stores and supply chains, as while there are now dozens of discount chains, enough for trade magazines and frequent corporate obituaries, there has never before been anything like Walmart. Shoppers, remarked on the remarkable similarities of Walmart stores, which was the idea of Walmart all along, as it was built to reflect sameness and dependability. If you go to one Walmart store, you'll find the same things that you would in Texas as you would in Arkansas. And it was further enforced by the idea that the employees of Walmart were not called employees, they were called associates, consistently motivated by rewards for high performance. Interestingly, the Walmart of the 1980s also capitalized upon selling quality products at the lowest possible prices, circumventing lower prices offered by imitation brands from foreign sources, which was a rising idea in many chain stores at the time, who would rely upon foreign markets and foreign producers in order to get cheap materials and goods. However, Walmart proudly proclaimed that 95% of the company's merchandise was made in the US, at least in the early 1980s. These ideas helped to represent Walmart's initial values from Sam Walton, which were the notions of purity, frugality, harmony, and obedience, which were designed to reflect the working class ideals and the people to whom they were initially selling in the rural areas and suburban areas of Texas and Arkansas. Thus, it is clear that Sam Walton was clearly a man with a vision and an entrepreneurial spirit, as well as a great amount of business acumen, which helps add to the American thread which we have today. Thanks for watching, and good luck with the rest of the course.